So the craziest thing just happened. What's up guys, it is DAGG back again with another video, and I'm freaking excited for what just happened. I couldn't believe it. You ready for the title, you ready for the thumbnail, no context, I'm just going to show you right now. Yes, the original NES, the first one ever here in my hand, the original NES, and I got it for free. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the original NES, released all the way back in 1985. This is a console that I wanted to get forever. I love Nintendo, of course, and now I have it. And not only this, oh no, there's still plenty of more awesome things that okay, I'm going to explain the story right now. I was in my grandmother's house helping my uncle move some stuff, helping my grandma, and I know he used to play the NES back in the day, well, this NES, and I asked him if he knew where it was, or was it sold, was it given to a friend, I don't know. So I asked him if he knew where it was, and he told me, oh yeah, come with me. And I was like, wait, right now? Like, you have it here right now? I've been coming to this house for 15 years and you had it all the time? And he's like, yeah, you want it? I'm like, mind blown. I follow him, he moves some boxes around, and then bam, and here is the original NES. Now, I already have the NES Classic Edition, the mini one, and look at this. Look at this, the size comparison. Look at that. It's massive. I mean, but we're not here to talk about the NES Classic. Oh no, we are here to talk about the treasure that I found. Now, I wouldn't make a whole video if it was just the console or just one console, because it's not only one console. There are 3 consoles and more than 15 games. So let's start. Of course, let's first start with the games for the original NES. First off, we have Monster Party, and in case you guys were wondering, yes, they do fit in here. Bam! So yeah, the games do work. So as I mentioned, number 1, Monster Party. Number 2, we have World Track Meet. Fun fact, this was used with a little, like, how do you call it, a little floor mat, so you step on it and that's the way you play this game. So very interesting. Oh, I got dust in my eye. So yeah, this is super interesting. Next up, and this game is featuring the NES, no, in the Nintendo Switch Online app. So if you got it, you'll probably play Double Dragon. So yep, beautiful Double Dragon. This was one of my father's favorite games. Next up, we have probably my 3rd favorite NES game of all time, and it is Mike Tyson's Punchout. Yes, this is not Mr. Dreams, this is Mike Tyson's Punchout. So yeah, really cool. Next up, we have Life Force by Konami. I don't know how to play this game. I'll probably play it. I have all the chords in the box that I brought from my grandma's house. That includes all the games, but yeah, I don't know nothing about this game, but I will later on play it, and I'll tell you guys in a separate video if you want what the game is about. Or if you already know, feel free to tell me in the comments down below. Next up we have RoboCop, the NES game, and funny thing, RoboCop isn't a movie for kids, and still they release video games for kids based on the movie. I just find that very funny. Next up we have a fantasy game called Wizards and Warriors, and I just now realized that my uncle used to be a fan of fantasy games, because there are a lot of fantasy games, well, in the box that I'm going to show you in a second. So yeah, expect more fantasy games like this one, Wizards and Warriors. Next up we have Pro Wrestling, and this game is also featured in the Switch Online, so you can play it already if you have a Switch, and it's actually pretty fun. Yes, it gets harder and harder, but you'll definitely spend a lot of time playing this game. It's very fun. Following Double Dragon, we have Double Dragon 3. So yeah, now we have, my uncle decided to skip Double Dragon 2 for some reason. Now Double Dragon 1 and 3. But who cares? It's NES games. Who doesn't like NES games? Next up we have a game based on one of the best movies of all time, and that is Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3. So yeah, I mean, Back to the Future was an amazing movie. Back to the Future 2 is my favorite, and Back to the Future 3 was okay, but yeah, Back to the Future. Next up we have a football game, Nintendo World Cup. And by football I mean soccer. Not to be confused. Here in Mexico we call it football. How do we call football? We call it American football. Yeah. Another game that is included is Ghosts and Goblins. This game is actually on the Nintendo Classic Edition. Another game is Wizards and Warriors 2, Iron Sword. So yeah, Wizards and Warriors 2, Iron Swords. As I already mentioned, fantasy games. Yeah! Now the next game is actually TNC's Surf Designers, and I've heard this is this was a very popular game, and yeah, TNC Surf Designer for the NES. And next up we have Superstar B-Ball, and it's a volleyball game. We can see on the front page that some guys are having fun playing hardcore volleyball. So Super Spike Volleyball. Yeah. And to finish things up with the Nintendo Entertainment System, we have Capcom's Mega Man 2. Yes, Mega Man 2. How cool is that? I think it's the greatest Mega Man of all, according to critics. I haven't played any Mega Man game, well, except Mega Man X. I play Mega Man X. It's cool, but I think according to critics, this is the best one. And I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that that's what I think the critics say. But it's so cool to have a Mega Man game, you know? Now, before we finish with the NES system, I have an add-on that I want to show. It is the NES Satellite. So basically, what you do with this thing is that this part right here, you connect it over here where the controllers are supposed to go. So bam, there you go. It is connected. Now this will connect via remote with this black thing over here, and you can now hook up 4 controllers instead of 2, and you don't need to be close to the console, so that's very cool. And just as a little fun fact, I have this copy of The Legend of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link for a very long time, and one day I was, well, in my grandmother's house. It was in a completely different room, and we found this game, and well, I decided to stay with it, and now the collection is complete. My grandma's family unfortunately lost Super Mario as well as Duck Hunt and the Zapper, but hey, Zelda 2 Gold Edition, and the console. There are no controllers, unfortunately. I will have to buy them separately, but it's an NES system. It's great. The next console I want to talk about, it is a Super Nintendo. And of course, look at the size comparison with the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. It's a huge difference. Where on earth, Nintendo? How? I mean, this thing is also massive, incredibly heavy and massive, and this did came with the controllers. Bam! Here they are super messy. I mean, yeah, you can play with them, they have all the controllers, but if you look closely, they are super dirty, super messy, and I'll have to give them a good clean before I display them in my collection. But yeah, they hook up and bam, you can play. I mean, that's awesome. Now the SNES games, somehow he managed to keep the boxes. So this is Super Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. So now we open the box, of course, and bam, here it is, Super Star Wars for the SNES. And yes, it completely works. Another cool box game that my uncle had was Mortal Kombat for the Super Nintendo. And yes, here it is. And a fighting game like Mortal Kombat wouldn't be complete with its rival. I'm of course talking about Street Fighter 2. Yes, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2. Two of the most amazing fighting games ever. Another game that he had in box is Head-On Soccer, the US Gold Sports. So let's open it up. And fun fact, well, I find it funny, this game has the manual, and it comes with an ad of the Nintendo Power magazine. Now I wasn't expecting that, but here we have Head-On Soccer for the SNES. And yes, all these games are in mid conditions because they were used. And to finish up with our SNES games, we have Super Mario World for the SNES. And I don't know if you remember, but a year ago I released a blog called I Met Gaten Matarazzo and Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, and well, I bought Super Mario World for the SNES there. It's back there. You know what? Let me bring it, so I can distinguish them. here is the other copy of Super Mario World. So yeah, now I have 2 Super Mario Worlds for the SNES. But we're already one thing away from finishing with the Super Nintendo. Moving on to the next console is the Game Genie. If you don't know how the Game Genie works, you basically place it as it was the game, you put the game on top of it, and it acts like it is a game enhancer, so your buttons are more accurate, and the game looks better, and all those things. It actually helps, well, a lot. Now we move to our next console, and that is the SEGA Genesis. SEGA! Okay, I like more Nintendo, but SEGA Genesis, yes! As the SNES, this Sega came with not only one controller, but two and something else, and you actually just hook them up over here, turn on the console, turn up the volume, and bam, you're playing with this massive control with A, B, and C. SEGA Genesis. But as I say, it's not the only thing it came with. It also came with this third-party controller, which let me just unfold real fast for you. Okay, here it is, and it's like that turbo controller. It has the start, slow, auto, turbo, A, B, and C, and all kinds of crazy stuff. The SEGA Genesis had a lot of third-party controllers. Everybody stop! I was looking around the box, and look what I found. The NES controller. Yes! We found the NES controller. You don't believe me? Here. See? Wait, no. See? Look at the size of these things. It is the original NES controller. So now we have a controller of all the consoles. Yes! Except N64. I'm still missing that one. Now moving on to the games. This is where we find more sports games, but we also have normal games, like for example the SEGA Genesis columns. Candy Crush isn't considered a real game, like right now, but if you told them, yeah, I play Candy Crush, but also SEGA columns, now you are a real gamer. And it also came with the manual. Yeah. Now, here I will show a couple of sports games and then move to the 2 surprises of the SEGA Genesis. Starting up with another box game, we have John Madden Football of the 92. And yes, it comes with the game and the manual. Here you go, a closer look. Now we have two other games. Following up football, we have another football by John Madden. I don't know which one's first, I will figure it out later. But yeah, we have another football right there, and Lakers versus Celtics at the NBA playoffs. So, and this is a basketball game. Now that we are here, the 2 SEGA Genesis surprise games. Well, number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog, and it comes with the manual, and Sonic with the freaking sticker that says not for sale. I will try to take it off later, but so freaking annoying that they put not for sale here and on the box. I don't know why, but that's something that I'm mad about. Whoever gave this away to my uncle. But yeah, number 2, Sonic, well, the Hedgehog 2, and this as well comes with the manual and the game without the freaking sticker that says not for resale. So yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But wait, actually this was my mistake. This is a game for the Super Nintendo. I thought it was an N64, but it is a Super Nintendo game. It was my mistake. I was going to say it's a surprise, and boom, here it is, an N64 game. No, it's a Super Nintendo one, and it's Donkey Kong Country. So yeah, Donkey Kong Country, this is a phenomenal game. It's in the SNES Classic Edition. So yeah, this game is actually pretty good. I played it. It's beautiful music. It comes with the manual, of course. The manual is the best thing, and the game, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to show for today, and whoa, it is gold, and oh my god, I'm super surprised and super happy right now. Wow. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.